My next guest is going to be back in action November 18th, UFC Fight Night, taking on Payton Talbott. It is Nick Aguirre joining me here on the program. Nick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, but I'm not going to be hitting someone in the face on November 18th. It's really a fun fight coming up here. Was this the right amount of time off in between fights, or were you hoping to fight a little bit sooner?
I was hoping to fight a little sooner. I was hoping around May was when I was like hoping to get back in there, but things just didn't work out that way. And here we are. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like you got plenty of notice for this fight, though. You got a full camp, I'm assuming.
Yeah, by the time the fight will come, it'll be 13 weeks. So it was a long camp for sure.
There we go. Okay, that's great. I know tough debut against Dan Argueta. What did you sort of take away the most from that performance that you're bringing into this fight?
I learned a lot from that. That was the first time I ever lost pro amateur. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, learned that really I just have to control what I can control and, really dictate where the fight goes and dictate my pace. Don't let him control the pace, which I really let him do way too much in that fight.
Yeah, no, understandable. Is there a bit of pressure, not being undefeated anymore? I know for some guys, when they do get that first loss, it's kind of like a bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders. Did you look at it that way, or is it just, kind of sucks? I mean, it's never fun losing, obviously.
I mean, it sucked, but I'm over it now. You just try to learn as much as I can from it. The worst thing I could do is take that loss and learn nothing from it and just make the same mistakes. So just try to learn everything I can from it, listen to the people around me. I have a lot of good people around me, a lot of good teammates and coaches who really had a lot of good advice for me about that fight. So I've learned a lot for sure.
Let's talk about Payton. 6-0. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him?
I've watched him fight a lot. I'm a big fan of MMA in general. So I watch UFC Fight Pass like every weekend. So I watched Uriah Faber's show. That's where he came up from. So I've seen him fight. I've seen all of his fights, I'm pretty sure, even before I ever got his name. So I was aware of who he was. I know how he fights. He fights very similar every fight. I think he has the same game plan every fight, which is just high volume. He's a long guy. He likes to strike. I think people really like watching him fight. So, it should be exciting. I'm ready to go.
The fact that it's his debut, like how much different was that even for you when you had your debut? Like, do you kind of feel like getting that under your belt's like a bit of an advantage because you kind of know what to expect having that first UFC fight?
I think it depends really on the person. My debut was super short notice, so I didn't really think about it too much.
Yeah, you didn't have time to process it. It's like you're just jumping in the deep end, so to speak, right?
Yeah, it was like I had no time to think about it. It was like next thing I know, I was walking to the cage. So for me, it was different, but it was definitely good to have that experience. I was in there for 15 minutes with the UFC gloves and everything that goes along backstage, and I know what to expect. So I don't know how much he got to experience that being on the Contender Series. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's going to be pretty similar for him or if it is a big difference. But I know that I've handled that situation before, so I'm well prepared.
Training camp, who have been some of the main guys helping you get ready for this fight?
Man, I have a lot of great teammates, great partners. The people I actually like train with, though often are like Saeed Yakub Karkamanov. He is a killer, so every day is hard. If you don't come ready when you're in there with that guy, he's gonna beat your ass. You're gonna have a bad day. So I would say he's my main training partner. I train with him almost every day. But I also train with Motaz Ascar. Sergio Pettis has came in and sparred. Mondo Gutierrez has came in and sparred. So I have a lot of really good partners, high level guys.
I'd say so. I mean, that's got to give you confidence in the gym getting to work with guys. Guys said you should still be in the UFC. Realistically, that was one of the worst releases I think ever they've done. Just considering, just again his last fight too, he's winning and then he makes a mistake. It's the guy's an absolute killer. So it must be nice to get to sharpen your iron, so to speak, with him every day.
Yeah, that guy is a killer. Like I don't know how he's not in the UFC. There's no reason he shouldn't be in the UFC. He's a top 15 guy right now, I think. So to feel him every day and get pushed by him every day, I mean, we scrap. So, he's getting me a lot better. I feel like I'm getting him better too. So we're just making each other better. So it's a really good situation for both of us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. What about trash talk? I know he likes to talk a bit of smack. Has that rubbed off on you at all?
No, not too much. I mean, I need to win a fight before I get to run my mouth. I
Sure.
think I could see how, like, I like to talk. I don't mind it, but I don't feel like I'm in a position right now where I have any room to speak because I am 0-1 in the UFC. Once I start winning, then you have the freedom to speak your mind a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at least when that time comes, you got a good guy to do it because
Yeah,
he's one of the guys who could talk some serious trash, man.
yeah,
I got
he's
to
a
give him
well.
that for sure. How about the weight cut? I mean, this has got to be a lot easier, not short notice. You get the full camp. I'm sure that's going a-okay heading into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's at 35 instead of 45, so obviously that's a big difference. But I mean, I made 45 on a week's notice, so that was like 20 pounds in a week. So the week of this fight, I'll be maybe 7, 8 pounds over. I do my cut very smart. I do it very slow. I'm not one of those guys who loses 12, 13 pounds the night before. So,
Yeah.
everything's going according to plan. I don't take any shortcuts when it comes to that or anything in this game. Everything is done the right way by me, so I'll be all good.
Who will be in your corner for this fight?
My corner will be Mike Valley, who's my head coach, Dimitri Willis, who's my wrestling coach, and then Alberto Rodriguez, who's my jiu-jitsu coach.
How's this fight playing out on November 18th?
I mean, I'm just gonna have to stay in his face. I have a good game plan. I know what I have to do. I know it's gonna be a hard fight. He's good, but all these guys are good. This is the highest level for a reason. So I know that it's gonna be 15 minutes of hell. That's why I keep telling myself 15 minutes of hell. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna get through it, and I'm gonna find a way to get my hand raised at the end of the day, no matter what. And that's all that matters to me. I don't care. I don't care if it's the most exciting fight. I don't care if it's the boringest fight. Whatever it takes to win. I'll do whatever it takes.
Did you watch the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight last week? And if so, even if you didn't watch, I'm sure you heard what happened. What did you think of Francis knocking down Fury in that fight? That was pretty crazy.
I didn't get to see it. I saw a lot of like highlights on Twitter and things like that. I mean, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I mean, good for him. He best representation of MMA going into boxing for sure. So I mean, he did amazing. I don't think anybody really expected that out of him besides maybe his close circle. But from everything I read, he won. He should have won.
We're kind of coming up to the end of the year here, especially when you fight. I imagine you're kind of looking towards next year and kind of what the plans are. Is the plan to just keep active? Is that kind of, what you hope for? Or what are some goals maybe you have for next year? I know we haven't finished this year yet, and you still got a fight coming up on the 18th.
Yeah, honestly, I'm keep telling myself nothing after November 18th matters. Like, that's the date. There's no life after that.
Mhm.
I'll figure all that after. But obviously, when this is done, I would like to stay active. I don't want to do another 10-month layoff ever again. But, November 18th, that's all that matters in my life right now.
What about downtime? What do you get up to? You mentioned you watch Fight Pass. You into any other sports? You're a Chicago guy. You watch. There's a lot of good teams there. Is there? You watching any of that, or is it all just fighting?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
No, that's good, man. Hey, listen, if all you're doing is fighting, that's probably good. You're not worrying about anything else, right?
Unfortunately, I do watch. Like, I'm a huge Chicago Bears fan. But
Okay.
we suck every year. Every year, you hope for the best. Every year, it's the same shit. They're terrible. One day,
Okay.
good. I mean, it can't be bad forever. But yeah, I watch a lot of sports, but none of my.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm Canadian and I'm also from Vancouver. Is Conor Bedard, is that a thing that is like on your radar? Because he's with the Blackhawks for the NHL team, and he's like the next phenom. And I know that like here it's a big deal, but I don't know how it is in for you, for like I'm assuming a casual fan.
I think everybody in Chicago knows about him.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of like checking to see if he's doing good. So like I'll look up stats and stuff like that, but I don't watch any hockey. I mean, everybody around here is like a bandwagon hockey fan for the most part. Like
Yeah.
when they were winning Stanley Cups, everybody was a Blackhawks fan, but ever since then, not too much. But yeah, he's definitely like I think everybody around here knows who he is. Like his name is big name out here, but no, I don't watch too much hockey.
No, understandable for sure. It's like, here, same thing, like other sports for me, it's pretty much just hockey and MMA. That's it. But
Yeah.
everyone's kind of different that way. Cool, man. Well, we are looking forward to this fight. It is November 18th, UFC Fight Night. Nick, thanks so much for doing this, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
I just want to thank all my teammates and coaches at VFS Academy. You know, I have the best team around me. And then just follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is slicknick135. And yeah, thanks for having me.